Hi, my name is Julia Ginrich, and I will be talking about the Museum of Modern Art, or MoMA, located in New York City. Throughout this virtual tour, I will be providing a brief background about the museum and describing the educational resources that are available to visitors online. I will also be proposing 2 different lesson ideas that could be implemented using online resources. Let's start with some information about the MoMA. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and click the About Us section. Then click Who We Are. Here you can read about the goals of the museum, and at the very bottom will be a few different links about information of the history of the MoMA and the MoMA PS1, as well as documents and current policies. A history of the MoMA describes how the MoMA was created in 1929 by a board of trustees. From the beginning, the museum has been intended to educate visitors about visual arts for both citizens of New York and visitors from around the world. The museum has changed location several times throughout its existence, but is currently located in Midtown Manhattan. The collection has grown to approximately 200,000 pieces of artwork. This museum is broken up into 6 different departments, consisting of architecture, design, painting, printing, film, media, performance, sculpture, and photography. In 2000, MoMA affiliated itself with MoMA PS1. This is a nonprofit art institute devoted to contemporary art. This building is a refurbished public school in Queens, and describes its purpose as providing an engaging environment for artists to inform, inspire, and challenge its audiences, to actively attract new audiences, and to be an accessible resource that elevates the role of art in our contemporary world. Let's move to Plan Your Visit, where you can see information about purchasing tickets, location, hours, and admission, tips and tricks for visiting, restaurant menus, as well as current information and dates about specific exhibitions, visiting with children, and options for group or guided tours. Exhibitions allows you to see a current calendar of events, as well as a list of exhibition histories. Art and Artists allows viewers to virtually search over 81,000 works of art through the collection. The search bar at the center allows you to search for specific artists or artworks, and the search engine also allows you to filter searches by including images as well as artworks that are on view. Below, the artworks are seen as small thumbnails, but if you click on a specific artwork, you can see more specific information about the artwork, as well as artworks created by that same artist that are available online, as well as a link to other different kinds of prints. To get back to the home screen of MoMA at any time, click the top MoMA logo. At the home screen, you will see current artwork on display, as well as an ad campaign for the new MoMA. Below is a particularly interesting video or ad about the MoMA that broaches the concept of a viewer hierarchy by including statements of a variety of viewers about different kinds of artwork. From this video, I can see that the MoMA is working to make a space that is inclusive for all people. Let's check out their newest ad.
A museum to me is a place of expression.
MoMA is one of those places where art can be pretty much anything.
MoMA for me is a home
where every idea is accepted.
You could be moved, you could be surprised.
Everybody should have a MoMA. It's nurturing, it's welcoming.
In 2019, MoMA will be explosive.
The new performance space will be the integral part of the collection galleries.
We are constantly challenging ourselves. It's a living, breathing collection. We can remix it so that it's responding to the world around us.
Putting works of art in conversation with each other in ways that have not happened before here.
It's tremendously exciting. We're just at the beginning.
In 2019, MoMA will be exhilarating. I'll just leave it at that.
Now that we're familiar with the nuts and bolts of the website and have a little background about MoMA itself, let's talk about some of the learning resources that are available virtually. The MoMA has an extensive amount of resources for all ages to engage with, including adult art enthusiasts, art educators, middle school and high school students, and even elementary students. All the way at the bottom of the page is the research and learning section. This is where the majority of the learning resources are going to be found. Here you can find information about the archives, the Celeste Film Preservation Center, Circulating Film and Video Library, Cerno Institute, International Program, information for K-12 teachers, the library, MoMA Learning, MoMA R&D, MoMA Research Consortium, online courses, Providence Research Project, publications, and Study Center. As we investigate a few of these relevant resources, you will notice that many of them overlap or link to one another. This shows the depth of information and resources available that can be tricky to navigate. To start this, we're going to begin with publications, which displays a long list of books that could be purchased for yourself or your classroom of students. Books also often have a link to take you to a read a free sample or buy from the bookstore. The next resource that I would like to show you is online courses. Massive open online courses, or MOOCs, allow learners to learn at their own pace while participating in a community of learners. There are a wide range of course topics that could be relevant for adults wanting to learn about specific areas within art, or for art educators. Students are enrolled in these courses and have the opportunity to hear from professional artists, view MoMA's extensive collection, and collaborate with other learners. These are course videos that provide a quick inside peek at what professors will be discussing and what artworks will be viewed.
Traditionally, modern art has been organized, separated, and discussed at great length by time period and movement. We won't be doing that. These videos will instead look at art by theme. Places and spaces, art and identity, transforming everyday objects, and art and society. These themes in an attempt to bridge the gap between modern art and you.
I think that modern art can meet you where you are and allows you to work with what you already know.
Which says, interestingly, as much about you or me as it does about the artist himself.
There's going to be pictures, there's going to be these people, there's love, there's death, there's this guy, there's this thing, there's a chainsaw.
This is why this museum, this is why the subject is so rich, because there's such diversity in it. If you find a foothold and get started, you're never going to finish.
It's going to be another way to look at modern art.
Suddenly it opens up a greater dialogue about connections not only between the works of art, but to things that we already know. It just gives you another entry point to really engage with the art that you're seeing.
The next resource I would like to show you is MoMA Learning. MoMA Learning is a free resource that provides learning materials about several different art movements. This resource covers several art movements with information that could be useful for middle school or high school students as a research tool or independent study. It could also be helpful to art educators because of the ability to download PowerPoints and worksheets for free. This site contains a lot of information and different avenues to get to that same information. However, at the top you can browse or search by theme or specific artist. When I click on a theme, I can read a description of the history of that theme, which highlights important vocabulary words linked to the glossary. These are found in blue. At the very bottom of the page, there are follow-up questions and activities, as well as related themes and multimedia links. If I click by Browse Artist, I can see what movement or style of artwork that artist fits into, as well as images of their work. To see downloads for learning materials, go to Tips and Tools at the top right. Here you can search through the different art movements, as well as the downloads that are available. To the right, there are videos created by school programs directors that work for MoMA and discuss how they teach modern art to young people visiting the museum. These videos are for art educators and provide insight on how to talk to young people about modern art. School program educators model the language used and discuss the importance of different paintings. I think this would be a great resource for educators to use when thinking about posing higher order thinking questions or learning how to encourage young learners to look and think with purpose in regards to modern art. Let's take a quick look.
Hi, I'm Lisa Mazzola, and I'm an educator at the Museum of Modern Art. And we're here in MoMA's galleries, where I spend lots of time with students and teachers talking about works of art in our collection. I'm here to share with you my 5 top tips for engaging students with works of art. One of the biggest challenges that teachers tell me they have with their students is getting them to slow down and really look at a work of art. The way that we focus students' attention here at MoMA is by asking open-ended questions. What I mean by open-ended questions are questions that don't require a yes or no answer.
So what else do you notice? So the overall size, right? So now you're looking at this painting, the actual painting, and it's much larger. Yeah, what else do you notice? Yeah, can you tell me more about that? What does that mean? It's so flat.
These types of questions get the students comfortable generating their own ideas and making observations and even interpretations about what they see without needing any prior knowledge about the work of art.
At the top right, back at the home screen for MoMA Learning, are a glossary of learning terms. These terms are organized alphabetically and by art movement. When you click on a term, you are taken to more extensive description of the work or person, as well as related images and themes. MoMA Learning's home screen is filled with colorful thumbnails throughout the page that represent a sample of information for both movements or media. If I click on a specific media, I can see a similar layout with written description and connecting links at the bottom. I could see using MoMA Learning for middle school and high school students that would provide them a respectable source that would give them an opportunity to research information about different art movements and artists within those movements. I would include this with a poster design assignment where I have students research an artist and organize the information they find in an easy, well-designed poster that they use to teach the class. The goal of this lesson is to encourage students to be independent research and gather their own information, and I feel like MoMA Learning would help them to do that with ease. Going back to MoMA Learning and the Research and Learning section, I would like to take you now to MoMA R&D. MoMA R&D provides visitors with a salon experience to increase knowledge about specific topics and to promote the idea that a museum is a place where people can come to discuss and learn about different controversial topics. Through the salon experience, viewers have an opportunity to hear lectures, Q&A, and discussion all regarding that one topic, which are typically about 2 hours in length. Specific video segments are broken up and displayed so you can jump from one specific point to the next within that 1 2-hour session. There are a total of 31 salon experiences to engage with, but here's a quick introduction to a study on friction.
It's a pleasure to see you all, and the audience changes pretty much every time in a magical way, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Paola Antonelli. I work here at the Museum of Modern Art as a Senior Curator of Architecture and Design and as a Director of R&D, and that's my hat for tonight. R&D is not a typical department in a museum, but we started this experiment a few years ago to just prove that museums can be the R&D of society, that museums can help people think about their daily life, big and small challenges, in a more expedient and in a deeper way sometimes, by just allowing them to think of important matters that count, to allow them to let artists help them or guide.
That's a quick taste of MoMA R&D and what the salon experience is like. Lastly, I think I will show you the K-12 teachers. This is where we're going to find a lot of those resources listed again and new ones that are specific for our younger students. The first sections are informations about classes on site at MoMA. And we've already discussed things like the online class as well as the collections and MoMA Learning. But Destination Modern Art is the last resource that I think is most relevant for elementary students. This is an interactive online program for younger students, 1st through 4th grade, and it encourages students to interact with modern and contemporary artworks that is available at the MoMA. Students travel through the MoMA and interact with paintings or artworks that are displayed. By clicking on the artwork. And then they are given choices to either listen, look, learn more about the artist, or an idea to create. Other choices might be to create a written assignment, to draw, to learn more about specific tools, but students are encouraged to interact with these pieces of artwork. To go back to the museum, click the bottom button and continue traveling to the movie theater.
Pick one.
Or even to MoMA PS1.
PS1 used to be a public school, and now it's an art center.
And they have art in a lot of unusual places.
Can you help me find the art at PS1? Choose an area to find the art.
Most people coming in through the front door probably don't even notice Keith Saulnier's sculpture right above their heads.
In MoMA PS1, students look at different pieces of artwork, hear a brief fact, as well as see a picture. Again, to get back to the museum, click the bottom button.
Where would you like to go?
Students also can travel to the sculpture garden.
A sculpture garden is an outdoor space with works of art.
In the garden, you can look at sculptures, eat a snack, or just take a break. Sometimes they have music in the garden. Can you help me explore the sculpture garden? Click on an area to learn more.
Similar to MoMA PS1, when students click on an artwork, they are read a brief fact and see a picture or video of the artwork. While I've only visited the website a few times in the last few weeks, the last comment while leaving the website is that it's continually changing and that we should come back to see what's new. To use Destination Modern Art with my students, I would have them consider what they already know about museums, what it would be like to visit one, and what they see there. To have them engage with modern destination art, I would have them use their Chromebooks, as well as complete a bingo card stamping off each artwork that they find and interact with. Students should have their sketchbooks out to take notes or draw, and should be encouraged to interact with one another to share their experience. At the end of the experience, they could compare and contrast how this would relate to a real museum, as well as share their experience with each other. This could be an exciting way for them to be intrigued to travel to a real museum, and I would also share with them museums or art centers that are in our area. As we go back to MoMA, I hope that you are more comfortable navigating the website and have a good idea of the resources that are available to both you and your students.